All right. Well, we're going to get going. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We may have a couple people join us late. So if you hear the chimes, that's what that is. Don't worry about that. But we are excited. In January of last year, Laura and I hosted a goal setting session that was based on the workbook that Mel Robbins did. It was Have Your Best Year Ever. And so this year, we're just adapting from that to revisit it and then help you create your best year yet. If you didn't get the workbook, it is in the chat. And if you just joined, it may not be there. So, Laura, can you share that again, the link or the document?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put it in the chat again if you need it. But first thing we want to do is just take a second and think about your year in 2024. Over the last 12 months, what was the highlight moments? And sometimes going through your camera roll is a great way to, because we capture those little moments. And so if you use your camera roll or look at your calendar or just think back in Q1, so January to March, what was something that happened during that time that really stands out as a highlight? Did you accomplish something? Did you go on a trip? Was there an event that you had January through March? Let's see, in February of last year, we had our spring fling in Fredericksburg. Was there something else that happened during that time frame that stood out? And then in the workbook, it breaks it down by quarters. So first, second, third, fourth. Just take a second and think about those times. And then if you would like to share, we'll take one person to share. Otherwise, we're going to just try to keep going so we can move on quickly because we do want to also give y'all time to chat and visit because there's a few people on here that may not know each other. So, Laura, what was your favorite memory from the first quarter? So I shared first quarter, the Fredericksburg. What about you, April through June?
That includes June, our state conference. Of course, that's a very big highlight. Going to the Dallas area and touring the Women's Museum, the Hall of Fame. That was a great highlight there. Um, I
Yeah.
also thinking of my coming out of work, so putting my work hat back on. We also held our 85th anniversary for my credit union and held our annual meeting in that quarter. So that was a very big milestone for my credit
Yeah. We had a lot going on April to June. I had a new grandbaby born.
union.
Um, Anybody else have anything in July through September?
Don't be shy. It's a safe circle. You can share.
Letitia?
Well, for me, for May was the graduation, the MBA graduation. So I think that
That's
was the
good.
highlight of my total year. In July through September,
Mhm.
having my life back.
I
Yeah.
love it. I had a son graduate, so I can relate to that too.
Yes.
What about October through December? Anybody have any big um, events, any memories or highlights from October through December?
Um, I can go. I started a new position with Blue Cross, and I really wanted this position, and it took me 3 times to interview and apply for it, and third time was a charm.
Woo-hoo.
Woohoo!
Big
That
win.
was a big one, Taylor.
Yes.
Huge. Perfect timing. So in 2024, thank you for sharing that, both of y'all. Sorry, I didn't mean to move on. What challenges did you face and what did you learn from them? So it's going to break it down into a challenge. So oftentimes we see challenges, I call them rocks in my podcast. So when we face something, we often feel like this is happening to me. But sometimes we can look at a situation as this challenge happened. It didn't happen to me. Maybe I don't feel like it happened for me, but maybe it just happened. Like it just did. It just existed. And I can learn something from that. So in this part of our worksheet, we're asking you to reflect on a challenge and what did it teach you? So I'll give you an example. So for me, we'll take the conference. That was my first conference to host here in Dallas. And the lessons I learned is it takes a village to host a conference. And it's really important to get key people involved and to get everything in writing and to make sure that you have things committed before you share them. So all great lessons learned last year. Anybody else want to share a lesson that you learned? And we'll go through this kind of quick, but I want you to really take some time reflecting on this because the reflection helps you set up what you want to do different. And you'll see as we get to that section, what you want to stop doing in 2025, what you want to start doing, and what you want to continue doing. So it's really important to reflect on those things. So anybody else have a challenge or a lesson that they learned before we move on? Okay.
Quiet room.
What?
Quiet room tonight.
Quiet room. I know. Hey, Miss Ann, thank you for joining us. Can y'all still see the, I'm not sharing, am I? I'm not sharing. Let me share. That might be better. Okay. Can you see Laura?
Yes, I can see if you can make it larger.
Uh-huh. Maybe. Better?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, so we're on this section. So a challenge and then what we learned. These are in, this was in the email we sent out, Miss Ann. If you didn't get the attachment, it's also in the Zoom.
I
in
have
the chat. Okay, perfect. So in 2024, think about 3 things that you've accomplished or moments that you went through that make you feel really proud about what you did. Something that you overcame, something that you feel like was maybe a rock that you were moving. I use that term a lot, but something that could have been really, really heavy and you just got through it. Like Taylor's example of getting the job. She tried 3 times and she could have stopped it too, but by persevering and overcoming that challenge, she learned that sometimes it's just about timing. Sometimes it's about learning and growing through something to be the person you need to be for that next thing. But what are 3 accomplishments that you feel really proud of? And I would love for y'all to share a few of those if you would.
Well, if you don't mind downers, I survived a fractured ankle, surgery on 4 toes, and a fractured heel in a period of 3 months.
Yeah, talk about overcomer, Miss Ann.
I'm here.
Yeah, we know how tough you are for sure.
Great.
All of that on top of holidays and everything else, traveling and all the things. Stacy, what about you? I know you've gone through some things with your work as well.
I have definitely gone through a lot in 2024 with my job. My biggest accomplishment would be one that we actually survived the acquisition of Rivercrest that I was not sure any of us were going to actually survive. But I think on top of that, that landed me in a position at Shannon that was not a good fit for me. And I knew right off the bat that was not going to work. And so I just kept trying and everybody kept saying, give it time, hang in there. And I'm not patient enough to do that. So I started looking for other opportunities and I did get a transfer within Shannon. So I've been at the new position for a month now and it is a much, much better fit for me. So it was a good move.
Yeah. So just being your own advocate, I'm sure is something that you could feel really proud of, because even though people are like, give it time, you trusted your gut and put yourself in a better position. So I think that's definitely something to consider and be proud of, and definitely overcoming the Rivercrest transfer. That was huge.
That was a lot. I think that was a lot for most everybody on this call. They had to listen to me for months.
Well, you're getting claps, and people are cheering you on and supporting you in the chat, and Letitia's giving you cheers. Okay, so taking all of what we've learned in 2024, I'm going to let Laura take us to our vision for 2025.
Thank you, Ms. Karen. So ladies, we do talk about a lot of this, and I think this is just an appropriate TBW Tuesday topic to have in January. January 1, we start thinking about goals and our even strategic plan for your business, perhaps. And we start dropping off of those habits pretty quickly, first and second week. I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to have better health. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But even we adopted this for my credit union, and one of my employees took it even a step further for having words of affirmation. What is your word for this year? What is your vision for this year? So it can be one word, it can be a little sentence, it can be your mantra. But what is that captures the essence of what to be? Where is your growth? Where do you see yourself at the end of this year? So here's some examples of words here on the screen: growth, courage, balance, abundance, chosen. Thinking about the be, we can be the best that we can be. We can take a lot of, we can do a lot with that theme. I love it for our state conference this year, Madam President. You did a great job. So what do you see yourself? What matters to you? And even going back and looking at the past year in 2024, what were those highlights? If you're like me and going through your camera roll takes a little bit longer because I take a lot of pictures. But it's also reminiscent that going back to your camera roll because you take pictures because that was important to you, that mattered to you, that you wanted to capture that moment. And so this vision for 2025, your word, your mantra, your affirmation is something that empowers you and is going to keep you standing strong as you go through this year. My word is, or words is I am, and then a blank sentence, because that may change every day. So what I am today is what I want to be at the end of this first quarter, at the end through the half of the year. But it just resonated with me that I am becoming. I am a leader, and so it can be anything. So I just wanted to share my word. But as we go through this, and I love the Mel Robbins, have your best year yet, that we can just continue and grow on this. So visualizing where you want to be by the end of the year, what will I be celebrating, and who do I want to become? So all of those are just, wraps right into my word.
Yeah.
But I did share that one of my employees took it a step further, and she found these cute little bitty clipboards at the dollar store, and painted. She's an artist, her other creative side of her hat, and she made us all little affirmation stickies with these little big clipboards that we can set on our desk and see it every day. So take that and use your word, use your vision, and take that a step further and post it somewhere where you'll see it every day and encourage you every day to make sure you're achieving that vision for this year. I love
love
that, Maria. Thank you. Be bold. With God, I am. Oh, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Never give up. Is that Arlinda's?
I think she was praising Taylor at that. Mhm.
Okay. I love that. I love that phrase too, though.
But yes, that's true.
So in the chat, if you would type your word or phrase that you're considering or that you've already chosen and share with us, and we'll be an encouragement to each other on what we've chosen for the year. Mine is consistency.
Ooh, I love these coming in. Stacy said thrive and growth from Letitia. That's great.
So good. I love when they remind us to visualize what we want to feel and celebrate and who we want to become. I think when we engage our senses, it helps us to really put into play action steps because we can feel that thing, right? It helps keep us moving. So when you feel happier, Miss Ann, and you imagine yourself and envision yourself feeling happier, then you get to ask those questions. What would it take for me to do that? Who do I need to be right now? And who do I need to become to be happier? And it starts with those little daily decisions and keeping that in front of us. So I'm going to move
Great.
on.
Yes, I'll turn it back over to you to number 3.
So Mel Robbins introduced this last year in our workbook, and it's the stop, start, continue framework that I mentioned a little bit earlier. When we reflect on things that worked for us in 2024, things that didn't, things that we missed, we get this opportunity to reflect and apply this stop, start, continue. And that could mean behavior, it could mean a habit, it could mean a mindset, but what behavior do we want to stop doing in 2025 that we want to leave it in? I think I typed this wrong, not 2024, 2025. We want to leave it in 2024. So with regards to our health, our career, finances, relationships, our fun, faith, family, what's one thing that you're willing to commit to stop doing this year that didn't serve you in 2024? There's hundreds of things that we could probably write, but let's just commit to one and make it super simple. And if you'll put a heart or got it or something in the chat and let me know that you have, that you're with us and you've got your item, then we'll go on to the next one. You can give me a thumbs up or something. I don't want to move on too soon. But Laura, what's one thing you're going to stop doing?
That's a hard one. I was going to say that. Stop, make sure I am not putting myself in a position of negativity. So surround myself with positive, encouraging,
Yes.
and they just had a commercial or whatever about it that I don't want the drama llama. So I'm gonna stop being around drama.
Yes.
My world doesn't need to revolve around drama, so let's just continue and move on from that. So
I think many of us are with you on that. Letitia said being negative. So self-doubt, Maria said. Taylor's gonna trust the process. And trusting the process is what I think she was talking about earlier. Stacy and Taylor have theirs for this section. Della, did you get the workbook or do you need the workbook sent to you, sweetie? I'm sharing it on the screen. I just want to make sure that you have it so you could go through later if you need it.
I'll paste it again in the chat.
Awesome. So in 2025, what do you want to start doing? So a new habit that you want to put into practice or some new initiative that you want to begin. Again, areas of health, career, financial, relationships, fun, faith, family. It could be anything. These are just some suggestions of the kind of the main areas of the wheel of life. But what's one new habit or one new practice that you want to commit to? So tonight, if you could leave here with one commitment to you, what would that be?
And you can put that in the chat. You can just drop a heart again. I love that idea. Give us a thumbs up if you don't want to share. But if you want to elaborate on it, please, we welcome you to come off mute and share live if you'd like. Letitia just joined in the chat, building positive relationships. That's wonderful. That comes out of the opposite of stopping being negative and build those positive relationships. And Stacy is going to build new work relationships. That's very empowering, coming into a new work environment. Thank you, Anne, being positive and having more fun. I know a lot of ladies that can help you with that. And Maria is working on a morning ritual, starting with the Miracle Morning app. That is great. And there are so many apps that are out there that can definitely provide that aid. And just having that morning ritual will start that, making those intentional habits. That's great. Taylor, I think we can help you with that as well. Step out of your comfort zone. I love it, girl. Good job.
Woo!
I love these. Thank you so much for sharing.
So good. So Miss Stella and Laura, thank y'all for joining us. Right now, we're just sharing, if you can see the screen, what we're going to start doing in 2025. So we talked about what we're going to stop doing from 2024. We're not going to bring that into 25. And now what we're going to start doing. And then the next item is continue. So what existing things that you do in your life are really serving you? They bring you joy, they bring you peace, they help you have that balance, whether that's work-life balance or relationship balance. It's something that you get tremendous amounts of pleasure or joy from. Maybe it's your church relationships or people in your family. What is something that you want to make sure you prioritize that brings you something positive in your life? So in 2025, my commitment is to my family. I have, an 18-year-old, so pretty soon he's going to be gone. I have little grandbabies. I want to make sure I'm not missing moments with them because I'm just staying busy on my business. And so that's my commitment, is to continue being available and prioritizing family. So please feel free to share in the chat, or like Laura said, continue to put a heart if you've got it and you don't feel comfortable sharing. You don't have to, but we'd love to hear it or have you put it in the chat.
Because once you speak it into existence, that's just part of accountability. And like I said before, this is a safe circle and we are your sisters. We are here to support and encourage and help you. And like if you say it out loud, then that's your mantra, that's your affirmation, and you know that it brings you joy.
Yeah. So Letitia's committed to her faith, attending daily mass online and in person. And Stacy has a goal to hit 800 at Orange Theory, or 800 Orange Theory classes by the end of 2025. That's amazing.
Woohoo, Stacy.
I have thought about Orange Theory. I'm going to have to talk to you about that. They look fun. Anybody else have anything that they're going to continue doing in 2025? Miss Garza, how about you? What's something you're going to continue doing this year that better health choices? Love it. Miss Ann's going to exercise more. Hopefully, no more foot issues. Don't break another foot. Taylor's going to continue on her financial, paying off debt and saving money and stepping out of her comfort zone. I love it. I love it. Madam Past State President Whisenhunt, what about you, ma'am?
I am very much like you that I started in December because Christmas just always overwhelms me. And so self-care became a very important factor. And I didn't want to be stressed. I wanted to enjoy those moments. And so definitely self-care, a lot of the health and exercises that we're seeing here in the chat. So making myself a priority, because it's just like the airplane mode, you know, you have to put the mask on you so you can take care of everyone else. So that's what I want to continue doing.
So our number 4 question is going to be about overcoming barriers. So I'm going to let you take over number 4 and lead us in what's holding us back.
Okay. And this is a very tough one for me, so I'm glad that I can speak and make y'all think. So, what's holding you back? There is always fear and procrastination. I'm the world's best at both of those things. But failure, I learned this, and fail, if you just lean on that, that is just your first attempt in learning. So don't be afraid to fail. And if that fear is what is holding you back from doing those things that you want to have the goals set, or your vision, what you want to be in the future at the end of this year, don't let that fear. You just have to take those leaps of faith. And I think that is, we have 2 prime examples here, Stacy and Taylor, that was just so persistent and didn't give up. They just continued. So if you set it down, if you write it out, then you can think and really dive in deeper of thinking, reflecting on that, what's making you stuck. If you feel stuck, if you feel just like you're in quicksand, then what's making you feel that way? And who do you need to ask for help? Who can you reach out to? Because we're all here. And I'm the first person to say, if I don't know how to help you, I know someone who can. So networking and connecting. So don't be afraid to ask for help. That's basically what I'm saying. So everyone has a story. And if you're limiting yourself, let go of it. And we don't want to let you get stuck. So where do you feel like you could ask for help, reach out, and just make that step so you don't have to feel held back anymore? I'm at a loss for words, Miss Karen, but
No, you are spot on. So let me scroll up, because I think this is the next thing is, so
writing down the thoughts.
yeah,
and
oftentimes we tell
release.
ourselves something and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, but we say it so many times we start to believe it. And that could be something like, so we're wanting a job, for example, because we've talked, a couple of people have mentioned that tonight, and maybe we didn't get it the one we wanted, or it didn't go the way we wanted. And so we can tell ourselves it's our fault. And then that becomes the story in our head. And then that creates a limiting belief around what we can achieve. So sometimes we just need to reflect on, what are the things I'm telling myself? What are the stories I'm creating? And then asking myself, is that really the truth? And so if it's not the truth, it's just something I'm convincing myself of, what's the next step? And Laura, you can continue on here, but I think just reflecting on the story, that the record player that's playing in our head, and is it true? Just asking ourselves, is it true? Reflecting on that.
That's right. Yeah. we're our own worst critic, and we get stuck in ourselves. So easier said than done than letting go, because right now I'm preaching to myself. But we've all also heard it this way too, that what's your first tiny step? We can't eat the elephant in one bite. Rome wasn't built in the day. You can say all of those phrases and remember or think back on. You can make it anything you want. But I love this, and momentum builds confidence. What can you do in the next 5 minutes? Don't think about December 2025. Think about January 29th. What can I do in the next 5 minutes, or what can I do in the next day to feel unstuck, to release this negativity, that this is the goal I want to achieve. So break it down. Break it down. And how do you break it down? Great segue into making goals.
Yep.
Matt, turn it back over to you.
So in 2025, we have all of these things that we want to accomplish, because everyone on this call is a go-getter woman who wants to leave a legacy, make an impact, and accomplish a lot of things before we check out. And oftentimes we look at all of the things and then we do nothing because we're in information overload. And so sometimes the easiest way to accomplish all of that is to start with one. So what is the most important goal for you to accomplish when you get to December 31st, 2025, that you can say, I did that and I did it to the best of my ability? So if you will, on a piece of paper, we want you to write it down. Because again, if it's in your head, it's just a dream. Writing it down and then putting the thought behind it and a plan and then action steps with our SMART, making it a SMART goal in section 6 that Laura is going to share here in a minute. That's how we get momentum and take action and get unstuck. So does anybody want to share your goal for 2025? Either come off mute and share online, or put it in the chat, or just share a heart that you've got it written down and that you're willing to be accountable to yourself. You don't have to be accountable to us, but at least to yourself. Okay, Taylor, I see your heart.
Thank you.
That's right. Thanks for writing it down. Miss Stella's got her heart. Stacy, thank you. I love it, Erlinda. As we accomplish one goal, add a new goal to our list. Absolutely. That's a go-getter.
It gives me such gratification that I can mark something off a list. So,
oh my gosh, yes.
I'll take that a step further, Linda. I'm going to do that. So as I mark something off, I'll add it to my list. I started using that even in my closet. So if I bring something new home, that means I have to let something old go.
Is that where Jason got that from? Did he get that idea from you? I'm going to have to talk to you about sharing those ideas with him.
Maybe my husband, because he.
Thank you, Laura, for sharing. Yeah, Mike and Jason can't talk to each other anymore.
Right. Well, thank you all. So we're getting some hearts, we're getting thumbs up. So I love that. And Taylor, if you don't mind, if I lean back on you, because you're speaking my language in my financial world. And I bring this SMART goal training to young kids who are coming out of, it's a PALS program. So it's preparation for adult living out of foster care. And it is the best class that I teach, and I love that. And sometimes it's really hard if I'm making a difference or if I'm getting through to teenagers. But I teach the SMART goals. And SMART, I love acronyms in my world. We have them, everyone has them. So being smart about it is being specific, having a measurable goal, making it achievable, making it relevant, and setting a time. So going back to specific, being very specific about what you want to achieve. You know, Taylor wants to pay off debt and start saving more. I want to lose 30 pounds. So being very specific. Again, Taylor, I hope you don't mind, but you're speaking my language in the finance world. So being very specific. How much debt? I want to pay off 3 credit cards. I want to pay off $1,000, or I want to save $1,000. You know, being very specific of what you want to achieve, and measurable. That's where money comes in, or numbers. So how do you measure this? How do you track the progress? Going back to Dave Ramsey, and I believe in his debt domino. As you pay off one bill, then you can use that monthly payment and domino it and add it to another one. Thank you. I'm glad. So add that $100 payment to the next bill. You look at your highest interest and you look at your largest balance, and think on that nature. So as you pay something down, that's how you're tracking progress. A percentage. Is it achievable? Are you being realistic with this goal, with the current resources that you have and the time that you have? So make sure that it's an achievable goal. And relevant. This is relevant because it's going to align with your vision and your priorities. So making that goal, that SMART goal, that is aligning with your vision, and that's going to bring you joy. So it is such a happy feeling whenever you get one bill paid off, and you have that extra money that you can now put towards your savings account. And that's what I teach my teenagers is pay yourself first. You a savings account, you treat that almost just like another bill. Set 10% of your paycheck, make that an automatic transfer that goes into your savings account. A lot of members just set up a special savings account, and I teach them to not borrow money for Christmas. We just come out of Christmas, and then you feel January and you feel the heavy and the debt because credit card bills start coming in. I overspent at Christmas. But if you set up now in January and start a Christmas savings account, a special savings account, it can be a vacation account. So try not to put that money on credit. Don't borrow to gift somebody something. It can be as easy as homemade too. And T for the last one is time. What is your deadline? Just like we started in the beginning, I want to pay off 3 credit card bills by the end of this year. I want to lose 30 pounds by June, because I have a dress that I want to wear to state conference and I want to look amazing. So it can be any of those things, but if you break it down, take those little bites out of each segment of your goal and your vision, then you can set these SMART goals.
Yeah, I love it. And then you're accountable for it. And the key is to be accountable to someone. So who is it in your life that can support you? Is it a coach? Is it a mentor? Is it a friend? Is it family? Write down someone or someone's, 1 or 2 people that you trust with your dreams, with your goals. And then when you want to commit to, or when you're willing to commit to reaching out to them and sharing this goal with them. Because just because you write it down doesn't mean that they're going to help you if they don't know, 1, what the goal is, and 2, how they can be a support for you. So decide and agree on when you're going to check in with them. Am I going to check in monthly? Am I going to check in weekly? Because I want to share, maybe it's just a text. I'm going to share, yes, this week I got paid and I put $200 in, or, hey, every day this week, but 1, I got my 10,000 steps in. And you could do a screenshot and send it to them. But how often are you going to review it and check in with them? And then how are you going to celebrate when you reach those goals, adding that in. It's not here, but I think that that's an important goal. Is it on the next page? No. I think that that's a really important part, because knowing that there's an end in sight and it's not, the light at the tunnel is not a train. How are we going to celebrate this? Because I'm going to speak it now that I'm going to achieve that goal. And when I do, I'm going to celebrate by buying that dress that I want, or I'm going to celebrate by, eating the cheesecake that I've been denying myself for 5 months, whatever it is. And then in 2025, what short affirmation or mantra can you create to help you either daily say it, you write it, put it on your computer, put it on a sticky note. And in my opinion and experience, it's best if you say it in the present tense. So I am walking 10,000 steps a day, or I can walk 10,000 steps every day and become healthier. I am saving money, whatever it is, but say it in the present tense, not that I wish I could, I want to save money, I want to pay off bills. As long as that's your focus, you're always going to want to do that thing. But when you say it in the present tense, it makes it possible. It tells your brain it's already happening. And somehow when we say things either in the I am, I can, or we ask ourselves, how can we? How can I make 10,000 steps possible today? My brain and my reticular activating system goes to work finding ways to solve the problem, because that's the job that our brain has. It goes about finding those ways. So asking yourself, how is it that I can do this? How can I do this? Or just stating, in fact, I am, I can, I will, is a great way to start your affirmation. So in the final notes, just a reminder that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of the best year of your life. We want your 2025 to be extraordinary. And you'll notice that we did add in all the little bees, and there's bees everywhere, because there's nobody else like you, and the world is waiting for what only you can offer. It's time to dare to be you, which is our conference theme. And I'm so excited to share conference with y'all this year. We have amazing things planned. And in the last 15, 20 minutes of our time, I would love to hear either your mantra, or for those that, if you don't know everybody on the call, I would love, Maria was at conference this year. She is also the sister-in-law of one of our speakers from conference, and would love for her to share her what she's doing. I think she's down in the hill country. Is that right, Maria? Are you down by Fredericksburg?
Sorry about that. Yes, I am. I'm in Kerrville.
Yeah. So please
I saw Linda
introduce.
Cahill last weekend in San Diego.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh. Well, we just are so glad that you're here. We'd love for you to share your thoughts, your mantra, or your goal for the year, and just a little bit about you. And since we have a small group, we can all just kind of spend the next few minutes. I'm going to stop the share screen. And I'm going to stop the recording.